we're so honored to have you on with us today because what a beautiful thing to be able to put out, and at a time when we kind of need to hear the message a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Well, you have to be excited because I mean I know these things take years to make. How long did this take to put together?
From actual pre-production to the end of production, it took about 3 years. The
Oh wow.
screenplay has been on my bookshelf for probably more than 20 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
And
it's
and of
been,
course.
yeah, rewrites after rewrites.
Hmm. And of course, the animation is beautiful, but we've been seeing, interestingly enough, some live action biblical things that have been doing well lately. The choice to do animation, of course, both are difficult, but both convey the story very well. So I was just curious about your choice of the animation.
You know, it's interesting. It started with the script was written for the intention of live action.
Mm.
And live action on a biblical epic story at this magnitude is extremely expensive. So from that, I moved into an idea of a graphic novel, which I was not happy with. I've done the graphic novel. And then I met the animation studio and I said, you know what? Maybe we could do an animation. And then the objective even changed because I realized that with the animation, I can probably penetrate the younger audience as well as the older audience. And what's better than to bring that kind of story at this time of history to life and get people even closer to biblical stories of faith? So
Mhm.
it kind of worked because
Yeah.
of the anime. Yeah, it's one of those, the 2D animation, the old school animation. It's got its imperfection. It works, and I'm happy that that's how things turned out. We've gotten great reviews, but it's more than just great animation, great story, great composition, original music. A lot of it was you've taught us something. Now we want to go back and actually read the book of Joshua. I try to stay very
Mhm.
loyal to the book itself, which is very challenging when you're doing fiction based on the book of Joshua. But yeah, we've gotten some great reviews, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And then, of course, the story itself means a whole lot to you. Can you talk about maybe the first time that you heard it and what the message carries with you today?
So I had a very animated teacher in school. And when she would tell the story of Joshua, I mean, she would almost act it out.
Hmm.
And Moses, and God told Moses that you cannot enter the promised land because you've sinned. And who do you think he chose, guys? And everybody is guessing. And she says he chose Joshua, the first is Israelite general. And Joshua was giving the baton to carry, the nomads back into the promised land. So I heard that story and I got so excited about, oh my gosh, there's going to be a big battle coming, and hopefully not, but hopefully we can just go in and life is going to be so great. And so when my teacher, who was a very animated person, told the story, I was completely sold. Bar none, my favorite story of the Old Testament. So I carried that with me. And of course, being Israeli myself, serving in the IDF in the past, um, that's part of who I am. That's my identity. So it was a very
Mhm.
natural decision to pick this specific story among so many others I could have chosen to tell the world.
Yeah. Well, and also given the location of where this actually happened, there's a lot of relevancy to today too, which of
Right.
course, you may not be trying to step into, that side of the story, but possibly. I'm just curious about like if this collides with today in your mind, or if you're trying to keep it separate for the sake of the film.
Well, it is inevitable. It's inevitable that it's going to be associated with current politics and the turmoil that we're going through right now in the Middle East. That was never my intention. I've written that screenplay 20 plus years ago, and I went to production 3 years ago. I did not
Hmm.
expect this to happen.
Yeah.
So the intention was from a pure storytelling, from an artistic standpoint, my translation from a Judeo-Christian type of angle of the book of Joshua. It is a
Hmm.
trilogy. Lo and behold, you wake up one morning and we're in the middle of a very, very nasty, very vicious war. And before you know it, this movie becomes more relevant than ever before.
Hmm.
So I go to interviews, and of course, I'm being asked. I think it's going to be relevant. I think it's going to be relevant for many, many reasons. I think people are going to translate the story in their own way. Um, I'm hoping that they're going to see the story for what it is, and that's going to encourage them to go and read the actual story and study it. It's a wonderful story, like every other story on the Bible. And the relevance of today's politics, I think it's going to be to each its own. I cannot tell people what to
Yeah.
think. I can only show them what I think.
Exactly. Well, and of
Yeah.
course, I think people will find that inspirational too, and they may want to tell their own stories after seeing this or their own, their own presentation. And so, what kind of advice would you give them? Because it's certainly very, very hard to get a movie out, but you've done it and done it so well.
So in terms of advice of thank you so much for that. In terms of advice of making a movie, I'm gonna quote a guy that I would love to call my buddy, but he's not my buddy. I just happened to meet him 3 times, and he's in the actor John Voight. And one of my screenplay won
Yeah.
the Beverly Hills Film Festival. It was a communist escape story, which is a different project. And I went to him and I said, "How do you make it?" And he looked at me and he said, "Go make a movie." I said, "Okay." I'm like, "How do you make a movie?" And he goes, "Go figure it out." So the advice that I have, and he said that to me 3 times on 3 different occasions. He goes, "Did you make a movie? Did you make a movie?" The advice I have is really believe in yourself. Absolutely believe in yourself. If you think you have something good, do it. Make it. Figure out a way to make it. With today's advancement in technology, we can make it. You can take this iPhone and go make a movie. So if you want to make a movie, make a movie. If you want to write a screenplay, write a screenplay. Read and research and figure it out. We can do. If I can do it, anybody can do it. That's my
Yeah.
advice.
Well said. Well,
Yeah.
my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys here, and
Yeah.
he caught the Hail Mary and went in the Hall of Fame. And of course, Hail Mary is an interesting term in the crossover here. But what would you say is your Hail Mary moment? That moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you?
I uh um I graduated medical school in Atlanta, and I decided that medicine is probably not for me, and I want to be a screenplay writer, producer, actor, whatever that may be. And I left everything. I left a very nice career to do that, and it was a struggle. I moved to LA, and I had to go back to medicine because I simply could not make it enough with a child, with a wife at the time, and I got remarried. And my current wife, who's a surgeon, came to me one day, and I'm back in medicine, and she said,
Mhm.
"Why don't you continue writing?
Mm.
You love that." And I said, I'm really I'm over the Hollywood thing. I'm very happy right now. And I thought about it, and then I said, "What am I doing? It is my dream. What am I going to tell my daughter one day? How can I tell my daughter, go follow your dreams when your own father is not doing it?"
Mm.
And that thought alone was my Hail Mary when I said, "I'm doing it. That's it. That's what I want to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do." And that's what I did.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, and we also talk about that success mindset that you have to have, whether or not you're feeling it or not. And when you're a creative type, you're often very hard on yourselves, and also a good businessman too. So what is it you tell yourself, or what is it that you keep in mind that keeps you on the right path? Is it your faith, or is it a certain line? Is it something that keeps you going through?
Well, it's the same thing as being a father, that I accept the fact that I wake up
Yeah.
every morning. I absolutely accept the fact that every morning when I wake up, I'm going to fail. And I accept that. and I'm going to fail,
Mm.
but I'm going to try not to. And then when I go to bed at night, I said to myself, I think I failed today, but maybe I've done something okay. So once you accept that, you're going to keep on going. But if you cannot accept failure, you won't even give it a shot. And it took me a long time to figure
Mm.
this out, that what is it that drives me right now? And you have the traditional answers. I do it for my daughter, I do it for my wife, I do it for my family, I do it for myself. I do it because I want to do it. And that was never good enough for me until I realized that if I don't accept failure, which I fail every single day, then I will never be able to succeed at some point, you know?
Mm.
And I think that's what drives me right now.
Yeah, it's beautifully said. Well, there's so much to get out of
Yeah.
this story, and I think people may take something different away depending on what they've been through or what they believe. So, what is it that you're hoping that people will take away or think about or discuss after this?
Um, Faith. Um, it's really in one word. And the way I got to that point in my life specifically, um, when I was in the military, I remember my captain came to us one time when we were very frustrated and people just wanted to quit. And he said, there is not a single wall that you cannot climb on if you don't believe you can. If you believe you can climb that wall, you will be able
Mm.
to climb it. So he said that. And then I have a lot of other examples from people that I've met throughout my journey of life. And I've taken all that together. And I'm not surprised that I picked The Walls of Jericho to be this film that I'm going to produce. You know, that there's so much similarity in all the advice I was ever given in my life. And when you watch the film, you realize that it's really not the strength of the sword as much as the strength of faith that got them to where
Mm.
they needed to be. Those walls are godly. Nobody can take them down. And that's what I'm hoping people can get out of this film. The story is great. The animation is fantastic. Like I mentioned, the original score by Daniela Core is absolutely amazing. But the message of this film is really what's most important. And it's faith. It's really believe in
Mhm.
yourself. Like it took me a very long time to believe in myself. So
Mhm.
that's really my message.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, after this, I can't wait to see what you do next. What do you have coming up for us after this?
I Well, it's a trilogy, so we're gonna have the second and the third. Um, yeah, and I have some things that I'm gonna pull out. It's gonna be great. It's I definitely feel that I found a great angle in my life in my filmmaking career, and I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen soon. But you
Okay.
know,
Yeah,
whatever
perfect.
happens, I can tell you right now. Whatever happens, I can tell you right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to fail. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, not very much, hopefully.
Very true.
Well, and then also, of course, it's very important to support this piece as it comes out. And so, what's the best way for people to do this and to follow along with this journey?
So we are on Instagram. We are on Facebook as well. Book of Joshua, Walls of Jericho. The movie is going to be streaming live on June 3rd of Apple TV and Fandango. They can go and find it right there. And if you find me on Instagram or Facebook, I will always respond. I take time to talk to people. I enjoy it, and I'm happy to converse with people. So yeah, find us on Instagram, on Facebook. I believe we're also on TikTok. And yeah, I'm here. I'm around.
Mhm. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all the work that you put into this. I think that people are going to love this film, and it's going to mean something to them. And I can't wait for the next two parts. So please keep up the good work, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed it.